House of Horror. Title: Taylor Swift and the song that was never written. My name is Taylor Swift, and there is a song inside my house that I did not write. It plays only when I am alone. 1. The house was supposed to be quiet. That was the reason I bought it. A long stretch of land in upstate New York, surrounded by trees old enough to remember things people tried to forget.
No neighbors.
No traffic.
No expectations.
Just space, physical and mental. To breathe, to heal, to write. I had told everyone I needed solitude. What I meant was silence. The kind that doesn't ask questions. The realtor had smiled too much when she handed me the keys. Some owners say the house has character, she said. I didn't ask what that meant. I never do.
2.
The first night was peaceful. Too peaceful. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears until you become aware of your own heartbeat. I unpacked slowly, placing notebooks on the desk by the window, guitar case leaning against the wall. The house smelled like old wood and something faintly sweet, like dried flowers. I slept deeply, dreamless. When I woke up, the sun was already high, and a melody was stuck in my head. Not one of mine. 3. It was simple. For notes.
Soft.
Repetitive. The kind of melody a child might hum without realizing it. I assumed it had come from a dream. That happens to me sometimes, half-formed tunes drifting up from the subconscious. I sat at the piano in the living room and played it. The sound echoed strangely. The house listened. When I stopped playing, the melody continued. Just barely. Coming from upstairs. 4. I froze. Every rational explanation rushed in at once. Pipes, wind, acoustics. Old houses make noises. Old houses sing sometimes, in their own way. I laughed quietly at myself. Get it together, I muttered. The melody stopped, as if it had been waiting for my reaction.
5.
Over the next few days, the tune returned at odd moments. When I was brushing my teeth, when I was cooking, when I stood still for too long. Never loud, never clear, always just on the edge of hearing. I tried to record it once. The audio file came back empty. No sound. But when I played it back, I could swear the silence felt crowded.
6.
The first lyric appeared on a Tuesday. I was unpacking books in the upstairs hallway when I noticed writing on the wall near the guest bedroom door.
Faint.
Like it had been etched with a fingernail. Just one line. You hum when you're afraid. My throat tightened. I do that. I always have. I rubbed at the wall, expecting dust or old pencil marks. The words didn't fade. They sank deeper. 7. That night, I dreamed of an audience. Not a stadium. Not faces. Just rows and rows of empty chairs stretching into darkness. A single spotlight illuminated the stage. A microphone stood there, waiting. From somewhere behind me, a voice whispered, "Sing it the way it happened." I woke up screaming. The melody was playing loudly now, from inside the walls.
8.
I searched the house the next morning. Every room, every closet, the attic. Nothing.
No speakers. No hidden devices.
No logical source. In the basement, I found something worse.
A door.
I hadn't seen it before. It was narrow, unpainted, and warm to the touch. Carved into it, deep enough to hurt the wood, were dozens of lines.
Lizzie.
Not mine. Not anyone's. They overlapped, crossed out, rewritten. All unfinished. At the bottom, written more carefully than the rest, was a name. Taylor Swift. My hands shook. "This isn't funny," I said aloud. The door responded. It knocked. From the inside.
9.
I stepped back. The knocking stopped. Then came humming. My humming. Perfectly matched in pitch and rhythm. I felt a pressure behind my eyes, a familiar emotional weight, the kind that usually comes before a song breaks loose in my chest. But this wasn't inspiration. This was extraction. The house wasn't waiting for me to write. It was waiting for me to remember.
10.
I locked the basement door and didn't go back down. I told myself I was imagining things, that isolation does strange things to creative people, that I needed rest, that I needed company, that I needed. The melody rose suddenly, flooding the house, filling every room at once. And this time it had words.
Clear.
Accusing. You left it unfinished. I sank to the floor, hands over my ears. What do you want from me? I whispered. The house answered in harmony. Finish the song. I did not sleep that night. I lay on the bed, fully dressed, lights on, staring at the ceiling while the melody crept through the house like a living thing. It slipped under doors, through vents into my chest. Every time I closed my eyes, the words tried to arrange themselves, verses forming without permission, choruses tightening like a knot around my lungs. I had spent my life learning how to invite songs. This one had broken in. At 4:11 a.m., the humming stopped. The silence that followed was worse.
1.
Morning brought no relief. The house looked normal in daylight, warm, even. Sunlight poured through the windows, catching dust in gentle spirals. Birds perched on the trees outside, singing real, ordinary songs. For a moment, I almost believed I had imagined everything. Then I saw the notebook. It lay open on the desk in the living room. I was certain I had left it closed. On the first page, written in my handwriting, but tighter, more deliberate, was a single line. Verse 1. You learned early how to smile through it. My breath caught. I hadn't written that, but I had lived it.
2.
I flipped the page. Another line. Pre-chorus. Applause is louder than truth. My fingers trembled as I turned the next page. Blank. Then the next. Blank. The song was being rationed, fed to me slowly, like the house wanted me to feel every word before it allowed the next one to exist. No, I said firmly. This isn't how it works. The house creaked in response. Not threatening, patient. 3. I called my assistant. Voicemail. I texted friends.
No replies.
The signal bars on my phone flickered, then dropped to 0. Wi-Fi, connected. Internet, unavailable. The house was not cutting me off. It was isolating me selectively. I paced the living room, heart racing. This isn't real, I told myself. It's stress. It's burnout. It's... A chord rang out. From the piano. I hadn't touched it. The lid was still closed. The sound was wrong. Flat. Morning. 4. The piano lid lifted slowly on its own. Keys depressed one by one, forming the melody. Now louder. Now confident. I backed away until my shoulders hit the wall. Stop, I whispered. The music did not stop. It waited. Then a new lyric surfaced, not sung, but pressed directly into my thoughts. You never sang the part where it broke you. Tears burned my eyes. I shook my head violently. That's not true. The melody changed. It darkened. And suddenly, I was no longer standing in my living room. 5. I was 16 again. Backstage. Bright lights bleeding through curtains. The smell of hairspray and nerves. My guitar heavy in my hands. People told me I was lucky. People told me I was brave. No one asked if I was afraid. I remembered smiling. Always smiling. The house layered the memory with sound. Applause swelling, drowning out everything else until I couldn't hear my own thoughts. Then the applause cut off. Silence. A voice whispered close to my ear. Sing what you swallowed.
6.
I gasped and stumbled forward, breaking free of the memory. I was back in the house. On my knees. The piano stopped. The basement door creaked open. Slowly. Invitingly. I had locked it. The lock now lay broken on the floor, twisted like soft metal. From the darkness below came a familiar sound.
A crowd.
Not cheering. Waiting. 7. I stood at the top of the basement stairs, heart pounding so hard I thought it might tear free. Why here? I asked aloud. Why this house? The answer came layered in harmony. Dozens of voices, all mine, all from different ages. Because this is where unfinished songs go. The basement light flicked on. The walls were covered now. Not just lyrics.
Dates.
Places.
Moments.
each line tied to a memory I had never written about. Not because I couldn't, because I wouldn't. At the center of the room stood a microphone.
Old.
Wired. Waiting.
8.
The melody softened, became gentle, almost kind. The house was no longer forcing. It was persuading. If you sing it, the voices whispered, we will hold it for you. The promise terrified me more than the threat. To let the house carry it. To be free of it. To never feel the weight again. I stepped closer to the microphone. My reflection stared back at me from the dark surface of the metal. It looked relieved. That was when I understood. The song wasn't unfinished because I lacked words. It was unfinished because finishing it would mean keeping the pain. I stepped back. No, I said softly. If it exists, it stays with me. The basement shuddered. The house did not like that answer.
9.
The lights went out. The melody turned sharp, discordant, angry. Doors slammed upstairs. The walls began to hum, vibrating with a sound too low to hear but too strong to ignore. The house was changing tactics. It no longer wanted the song. It wanted me, and somewhere deep in the structure, something started to sing louder than ever before. A chorus, final, demanding. I ran for the stairs. The door slammed shut above me. Darkness swallowed the basement. And in that darkness, the microphone turned toward me. The darkness in the basement was not empty. It vibrated. Not with sound exactly, but with expectation. The microphone stood inches from my face now, though I had not seen it move. Its cable coiled across the floor like something alive, disappearing into the shadows behind the walls. I could feel the house breathing through it, waiting for my voice. No, I said again, firmer this time. You don't get to take this. The word take echoed unnaturally, repeating itself in softer and softer tones until it became a whispering harmony. Take, take, take. The microphone clicked on.
1.
Feedback screamed through the basement. The walls rippled as if made of fabric instead of wood. Lyrics began to crawl across the concrete floor, glowing faintly, arranging themselves into verses around my feet. I recognized them, not as songs, as moments. A sentence I never sent. A boundary I never set. A smile I wore while something inside me collapsed. The house was composing, using me as an instrument. You think I didn't want to sing it? I shouted. You think I didn't feel it clawing at my throat? The feedback stopped abruptly. The house listened. Then a new voice emerged from the darkness. Not many voices.
1.
Older.
Calmer.
I know why you didn't.
2.
A figure stepped into the dim light. She looked like me. Not exactly, but close enough to make my chest tighten. Older than I was now. Tired in a way sleep could not fix. Her eyes carried something heavy but familiar. I'm what happens if you let it carry the song, she said. I shook my head. You're not real. She smiled faintly. Neither is the house. But we're both consequences. She gestured around us. The house feeds on unfinished expression. It doesn't want pain. It wants containment. It wants you lighter, quieter, easier to keep. The microphone hummed approvingly. 3. I looked at the lyrics glowing beneath my feet. They're not lies, I said quietly. No, she agreed, but they're incomplete. She stepped closer. When you turn pain into art, you give it shape, limits, an ending. The house doesn't want that. The walls trembled. The house did not like being described. It wants endless rehearsal, she continued. Endless versions of you humming instead of screaming. I felt my throat tighten. That was true. I hummed when I was afraid. 4. The basement shifted. The concrete peeled away, revealing a stage beneath. Vast, dark, endless. Rows of empty seats stretched into blackness. A single spotlight shone down on me. The microphone stood center stage now. The house had decided to escalate. Sing. The voices whispered, layered and seductive. Just the chorus. Just enough. I stepped back. The older version of me reached out and grabbed my wrist. Listen carefully, she said. If you sing what they want, they'll keep it. You'll forget the weight. but you'll also forget why the song mattered. What if I sing it my way? I asked. Her grip tightened. Then the house loses you.
5.
The pressure built. The melody surged, trying to force its way up my throat. My chest ached with it. Years of swallowed words, rearranging themselves into something sharp and uncontainable. I stepped forward. The microphone leaned toward me eagerly. I took a breath. And instead of singing the melody it had given me, I changed it. I broke the rhythm. I sang the part one had always skipped. My voice cracked. But it was mine.
6.
The house screamed. Not musically, structurally. The stage fractured beneath my feet. Seats collapsed inward. Lyrics burned away from the floor like ash in reverse. The older version of me smiled. That's it, she said. Finish it.
Isang.
Not for an audience. Not for approval. For the version of myself who learned too early that silence was safer. For the moments I survived but never honored. The melody warped, unable to contain what I was giving it. The microphone sparked violently. The cable snapped. 7. The house convulsed. Walls split open, revealing nothing behind them but darkness and wind. The basement stairs reappeared, cracked but solid.
The voices panicked.
Stop. You'll ruin it. You'll keep it forever. Yes, I said hoarsely. I will. The older version of me began to fade. Remember this feeling, she said. That's how you keep it from rebuilding. She vanished.
8.
I ran. The house tried to follow, doors slamming, floors tilting, melodies screeching out of tune, but it was losing cohesion. Without my avoidance to anchor it, it was unraveling. I burst through the front door and collapsed onto the porch, gasping. The house went silent. Not listening anymore. Defeated. 9. Dawn crept through the trees. Birdsong returned. Normal sound. I lay there for a long time, shaking, feeling everything I had tried not to feel for years. It hurt, but it was real. And for the first time, the melody in my head was quiet, not suppressed, not trapped, just finished. I did not leave the house that morning. That surprised me. After everything, after the screaming walls, the false harmonies, the way the house had tried to hollow me out and keep what mattered, I should have run. Packed a bag, driven until the trees blurred into something harmless and ordinary. But I stayed, because for the first time since I arrived, the house felt quiet in the right way. Not padded, not listening, just empty.
1.
The silence was different now. It no longer pressed against my ears. It moved naturally, expanding and contracting with the wind outside, with my footsteps, with the normal sounds of a place being lived in. I walked through the rooms slowly. The piano was still there. Ordinary, wooden, inanimate. When I pressed a key, it sounded like a key, not a confession. Upstairs, the hallway walls were clean. No writing.
No takie suggestions.
The guest bedroom door opened to exactly what it should have been all along, a room. Nothing more, nothing less. I exhaled, a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding for years.
2.
The basement door stood open. I hesitated at the top of the stairs. Fear flickered, not the consuming kind, but the useful kind. The kind that asks questions instead of making decisions for you. I'm not running, I said softly, mostly to myself. The light switch worked. The basement was smaller than I remembered. No stage.
No microphone.
Just concrete walls, storage boxes, a faint smell of dust. Except for one thing. On the far wall, written faintly as if by charcoal, was a final line. This is where it stopped. I nodded. Yes, I said. It is.
3.
I wrote the song that week. Not all at once. Not dramatically. I wrote it the way real truth comes out, slowly, unevenly, with pauses where I had to sit with discomfort instead of editing it away. The melody changed from what the house had given me.
It softened.
It strengthened. It stopped asking for permission. When I finished, I didn't feel lighter. I felt heavier, but grounded. The kind of weight that belongs to you.
4.
The house did not interfere again, but I noticed something strange. As the song took shape, the house began to age. paint chipped faster than it should have. Floorboards creaked more honestly. The structure settled, like something finally allowed to become what it always was instead of what it pretended to be. I realized then what the house truly was. It was not a predator. It was a container. A place built by generations of unspoken things, reinforced every time someone chose not to finish a sentence that mattered. When there was nothing left for it to hold, it weakened.
5.
People started visiting. Friends, collaborators. Voices filled the rooms. Laughter bounced off the walls and came back unchanged.
No distortion.
No echo with intention. One evening, someone hummed absent-mindedly while washing dishes. I froze. The hum was imperfect, off-key, casual, human. The house did not respond. I smiled.
6.
I still hum when I'm afraid. That part didn't disappear. But now I notice it. And when I notice it, I stop and ask myself what I'm trying not to say. That question has become my anchor. Because I know what happens when you don't ask it. I've seen the rooms it builds.
7.
Sometimes, late at night, I think I hear a melody in the distance. Not from the walls. Not from the floor. From far away. As if another house, somewhere else, is trying to remember something no one will finish. I don't answer it. I hope someone else does.
8.
If you ever find a song forming in your chest that scares you, one that feels too honest, too sharp, too unfinished, don't give it to a place that promises to hold it for you. Finish it yourself, even if your voice shakes, especially if it does. 9. My name is Taylor Swift, and the song that was never written no longer needs a house to live in. It lives with me. The house did not die. That is something I need to be clear about. Places like that do not die. They wait.
1.
Months passed. The song was released quietly. No dramatic announcement, no explanation. Listeners described it as uncomfortable, too honest, hard to replay. Some said they loved it. Some said they couldn't finish it. That was enough. I noticed changes after that. Not in the house, in the world.
2.
I began receiving letters. Not fan mail, confessions. People wrote about melodies that appeared in empty rooms. About humming without realizing they were afraid. About houses that felt wrong in ways they couldn't articulate. A woman from Oregon described a cabin where the walls repeated her thoughts back to her at night. A man from Georgia wrote about a motel room that only played music when he stood still. None of them used the word haunted. They didn't need to. 3. One letter arrived without a return address. The paper was old, yellowed, folded carefully. Inside was a single sentence. You taught it how to survive without you. My hands went cold. I understood immediately. The house had learned something important. It didn't need me. It needed the pattern. For that night, I dreamed of the basement again. But it wasn't my basement. It was larger, endless. Thousands of microphones stood in rows, all facing outward. Each one connected by cables that disappeared into the walls.
No voices. No singing.
Just waiting. At the far end of the room, a door opened. And another. And another. Houses were being built.
5.
I woke up with my heart racing. The melody was not in my head. That was worse. Because I could feel it elsewhere. Like a broadcast searching for receivers. I sat up and whispered. Not me. The house around me remained quiet.
Honest.
Empty. That was when I understood my role.
6.
The song didn't destroy the house. It exposed it. And exposure creates resistance, but also replication. People who heard the song began finishing their own. Speaking things they had buried. Ending silences that had felt permanent. But others chose the easier path. They looked for places to leave their pain instead of carrying it. And those places answered. 7. I stopped performing the song live. Not out of fear, out of responsibility. Because some audiences don't listen. They transfer. And houses love crowds.
8.
If you're hearing this now, reading these words, feeling something tighten just behind your ribs, listen carefully. That isn't inspiration. It's a question. And questions don't need rooms. They need answers. If you don't answer them, something else will offer to.
9.
Somewhere, tonight, a house is learning a new voice. Somewhere, someone is humming to avoid screaming. And somewhere between those two things, a door is being built.
Slowly.
Quietly. Perfectly.
10.
My name is Taylor Swift. I finished my song, but the world is full of unfinished ones. And not all of them want to be heard.
The end.
Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.